Hello and welcome back to our boys party. In this second part of the Planetary Supremacy campaign, we are trying to secure the planet in contest with our second opponent, the Necrons. Let's find out if we can achieve this. Well, in case you missed it, we were able to defeat the Astra Militarum in the last episode, and are now facing the Necrons who stayed out of the center until now. Well, now that we deleted the Humies from this planet, they decided to push towards our base. And with they, I mean the Necrons. This kind of aggression towards us cannot be tolerated. So we decided that they have to go as quickly as possible. In order to be successful, we decided to change the army composition to be a little bit more qualitative again. After our last battle with the Astra Militarum, we needed to fill up our army with higher quality units again. Furthermore, we had to find a way to push the Necrons away from our base, since they were awfully close to us. In order to achieve all that, we decided that a buffer between them and our base would be the best thing to do. So, we had to go ahead and conquer this land that was controlled by the Blood Angels. Going into this battle, it was nothing more than a side note, to be honest. We went in there with our common strategy: keep the units together, avoid unnecessary losses of elite units, and get rid of the opponent with aggression. We were able to achieve all of that with ease. While we still lost some units, I would not consider them a big loss for the general army strength, which is why I would consider this mission a full success. Also, seeing the units that we're losing all the time in these battles makes me really consider this no unit loss campaign that I started this whole series with. But, oh well, never mind. After this battle, the Necrons started to push to the center, and they decided to capture two areas in one turn. While the first capture was successful, the second capture failed. And this was exactly what opened a window for us to push back. I think in general, that gave us the opportunity now to cut the Necrons off and make this battle over the planet a long and strategic one. All we had to do is capture the diagonal line from bottom right to top left. This would help us to increase our army and leave the majority of the planet in our control. This would then ultimately lead to a bigger army on our side and an easier endgame for us. With this strategy in mind, we continued to play. At this point, we decided that it was most beneficial for us to just keep our army strong and fill them up with high quality units. Afterwards, we pushed the Necrons back a bit while they reinforced and upgraded their army. This also allowed us to capture another very important area of the map, which allowed us to increase our army by another 300 points. And as in the previous episode, with a similar real estate, the battle was yet again against the Black Legion. And yet again, it was a capture the flag map. At this point, it started to get very repetitive. This was probably bad luck, but the map even looked exactly the same as the previous 300 point battle we had. It did not change our approach. We utilized our resources to the maximum. While keeping the high quality vehicles unit safe, we pushed our infantry into battle and utilized the strength and sturdiness of our melee units. We captured the zone relatively quickly, and while we watched this battle unfold, I wanted to mention one thing. The Orks really surprised me with their skeleton units. This might sound biased, but those Orks will have a special place in my heart. Nevertheless, I definitely need to try out other fractions as well in the future, but until then, the Orks are for sure my favorites. Well, back to the battle. Once we settle in the capture zone, it would be very hard for every enemy to take us out of there. Which is why it did not surprise me that we won this battle shortly after. After that, the repetitiveness of this campaign continued. We made sure to fill up our army in order to be prepared for any Necron attack or retaliation in the next turn. And, well, what should I say? Maybe I should predict the next weather channel or the lottery, but this is exactly what happened. After a few out-resolved battles, where we first withdrew and then took back some land, we were able to push back the Necrons out of our territory for sure. And with our territory, I mean the bottom right corner of the map. Now that they were stuck in the upper right hand side corner, it was easy for us to fulfill the planned strategy. Cut them off of the planet's most important real estate, while also increasing our army strength. With that being said, we started capturing more areas and narrowed down their options even more. As you slowly realize, the battles, as I mentioned before, were all the same at this point, which is why I cut out a good portion of these next ones. It is nothing special really at this point. We go in, we destroy, we go out. It was clear that at this point of the campaign, this planetary supremacy will be more repetitive battles. And while moving forward a few turns, the Necrons realized what we wanted to do. And with that, they started to push back into our territory. Well, this was without any success on their side. There was a very similar scenario with the Astra Militarum in the previous episode. We were able to deny their entry into our area and in the process delete their army. After this whole interaction, they were left with 455 point army and no action points. Which, in the next turn, for us, should not be that difficult to defeat, even without high quality units. Before doing that, we chose to use the rest of our victory points and upgrade our army one last time, but it didn't really matter at the end. With that being said, we went into their bases very confident. While having our army still consistent of some cannon fodder gradients, we did not have any troubles taking the first few capture points. It was still very cool though to see how the map design was done. This is how Necron bases should look like, I guess. In the end, their home turf advantage did not help them though. Without major issues, we were able to get back and capture the relevant points. We were also able to defeat their army completely, and with the last turn of the game, secure our victory and capture the entire planet. Well, what should I say? It was a tactical masterclass once again by the Learning Channel. After experiencing the planetary supremacy campaign with the Orks, I must say some positive, but also a few negative things. While the Orks were absolutely amazing, the campaign setup disappointed a little bit in longevity. The battle setups seemed very repetitive, as you probably could tell from the video, while the overall goal seemed rather easy to achieve. Maybe it was the strategy that I have chosen, or maybe the opponents that I have chosen, but it seems game-breaking utilize the action points after denying the enemy entry into our area. This made the counterattack so much more powerful. Nevertheless, all in all, I enjoyed this campaign, and spending a total of 5 to 6 hours on this in order to get to know a new army is definitely not wasted time, especially if you want to continue playing a game like Battlesector with like 7 or 8 or 9 different fractions. With that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this kind of Battlesector content, and I hope you guys will like, subscribe, and click onto the next videos. Until then, I hope to see you again. Thank you, and goodbye.